My mother was holding a wooden spoon like a weapon. Not just holding it, gripping it the way a warrior grips a sword before battle. My father's voice boomed across the living room in rapid-fire Igbo, and Jin-woo Chung, my Korean boyfriend of 2 years, was on his knees with his hands pressed together in the most desperate prayer position I'd ever seen. "Please, Mr. Dixon. Please." Jin-woo kept repeating, sweat dripping down his face. My grandmother Amanda sat in her chair, arms crossed, watching the scene like it was her favorite telenovela. And the worst part? This wasn't even the most chaotic thing that happened that night. But let me rewind. Let me take you back 48 hours to where this beautiful disaster actually started, because nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared me for what was about to unfold. 48 hours earlier. "Chioma, you look like you're about to throw up." Jin-woo squeezed my hand as we stood in the international terminal of Incheon Airport. Our bags were checked, boarding passes in hand, and my stomach was doing gymnastics that would make an Olympic athlete jealous. "I'm fine," I lied, staring at the departure board. "Lagos. My home. The place I'd left 3 years ago to teach English in Seoul, where I'd met this beautiful, kind, absolutely wrong for my traditional Nigerian family man standing beside me." Jin-woo tilted his head, that concerned puppy dog look he always gave me when he knew I was lying. "You don't look fine. You look like... I haven't told them you're Korean." The words tumbled out of my mouth like a confession at church. Jin-woo's hand went slack in mine. "What?" "My parents. They think I'm bringing home Samuel from our church in Seoul. Remember him? The Nigerian guy who..." "Wait. What?" Jin-woo's voice went up 3 octaves. A few passengers turned to look at us. "Chioma, we've been together for 2 years. How do they think? Who is Samuel?" "He's just this guy from church who my mother keeps asking about because she saw us talking once in a photo on Facebook and..." My phone rang. The ringtone, my mother's special one, a gospel song she'd programmed herself last time I visited, cut through the airport noise like a siren. "It's her," I whispered, staring at the screen like it was a bomb about to explode. "Answer it," Jin-woo urged, his face a mixture of confusion and panic. I swiped to accept, putting it on speaker because at this point, what did I have to lose? "Chioma. My daughter." My mother's voice burst through, warm and excited. "Are you at the airport? Is Samuel with you? I've been telling everyone about him. Your aunties can't wait to meet him." Jin-woo's eyes went wide. I watched the color drain from his face. "Mama, actually. And I have wonderful news," she continued, not letting me finish. "Your grandmother is flying in from the village tomorrow. She wants to meet Samuel. She said any man good enough for you must meet her approval. You know how she is." My blood went cold. Grandmother. Traditional, no nonsense, once chased a suitor with a broom grandmother. "Mama, listen. Oh, and your father has been cleaning his military medals. You know what that means? He wants to show Samuel his glory days. Chioma, I think he's finally ready to accept one of your boyfriends. Isn't this exciting?" Jin-woo made a sound like a dying animal. I covered the phone's microphone. "Your father is military," he hissed. "Ex-military," I corrected. "Very ex. Like 20 years ex. That doesn't make it better." My mother was still talking. "And I've already told the whole family. Your Uncle Emeka, Aunt Ngozi, your cousins, even Pastor Adebayo from church. Everyone knows Samuel is coming. Mama. Oh, one more thing. Make sure Samuel knows we eat with our hands. Traditional style. And tell him to prepare his introduction speech. You know, where he tells us his family lineage and intentions. Very important." The call ended. Jin-woo and I stood in the middle of the airport, frozen, while announcements echoed around us and travelers rushed past. "Chioma." Jin-woo's voice was eerily calm. "Tell me this is a joke. I can explain. You told your family I'm a completely different person. Not exactly. I just didn't correct them when they assumed. For 2 years. You don't understand. My father is Okafor Dixon. He's ex-military, very strict, and he's already disapproved of 3 of my previous boyfriends. 3, Jin-woo. 1 was from the wrong state in Nigeria. Another was too short. The 3rd one sneezed wrong at dinner. He sneezed wrong. It was too loud. My father said it showed lack of self-control." Jin-woo sat down heavily on his suitcase, his head in his hands. "What chance do I have? I'm not even from the same continent." I sat beside him, my heart hammering. "There's more. How could there possibly be more? My parents stopped talking to my sister for 6 months because she dated someone from a different tribe. Same country, same language basically, just different tribe. 6 months, Jin-woo. My own sister. And you want me to walk into this as, what? Surprise. He's not Samuel, he's Jin-woo, and he's Korean. We sat in silence, watching people board flights to destinations all over the world. Lucky people who weren't about to face the Dixon family tribunal. Then Jin-woo sat up straight. I have an idea. No, you haven't heard it yet. Jin-woo, whenever you get that look, something ridiculous happens. Remember the time you thought you could make traditional Korean kimchi in my tiny apartment and... This is different. Listen. He grabbed my hands. Chibiz. I blinked. Your Nigerian friend from the gym? Yes. He can help me. He can teach me the basics. Igbo phrases, customs, how to act. I'll learn everything in the next 36 hours. That's impossible. I learned enough Korean in 3 months to pass my topic exam. That's different. Is it? Look, I'll be like a cultural exchange student. Chibiz can coach me, teach me the important phrases, tell me what to do and what not to do. By the time we land, I'll be ready. I stared at him. The crazy thing was, I could see him actually believing this would work. That's who Jin-woo was, optimistic to the point of delusion. My father speaks some Korean, I said quietly. Jin-woo's face fell. What? He was stationed there during his military service. Just basic stuff, but... You're just telling me this now? I forgot. I was 8. I didn't think it mattered. Jin-woo stood up, pacing in small circles. Okay. This is fine. I'll speak Igbo. He won't expect that. It'll show effort, respect. Chioma, trust me. I can do this. I looked at this man, this sweet, slightly crazy man who had somehow convinced himself he could learn enough about my culture in less than 2 days to fool my entire family. The same man who once tried to surprise me by cooking jollof rice and somehow ended up with orange soup. We're going to die, I said. Probably, he agreed. But we'll die together. The flight to Lagos was 13 hours long. Jin-woo spent 12 of them with his earbuds in, listening to Chibiz's voice notes and watching YouTube videos about Nigerian culture. Nduo, he whispered, practicing. Kitaka Imir. ODMMA. You just said hello. How are you? It's good in the most interesting way, I said, trying not to laugh. You made it sound like Nintendo. I'm trying. By hour 8, he'd filled 3 pages of his notebook with phrases. How to greet elders with proper bowing. How to shake hands, right hand, left hand supporting right elbow. How to receive items, both hands, with thanks. Important phrases. Yes, sir. Thank you, Ma. I'm honored. What if they ask about my family? Jin-woo asked suddenly. Tell them the truth. Your parents are in Seoul. Your father is a businessman. Your mother is a teacher. That's all fine. Will they ask why I'm not married yet at 31? Probably. What do I say? Say you were waiting to find the right person. They'll like that. Jin-woo nodded, making another note. Then he looked up at me with those earnest eyes. Chioma, are you sure about this? We could still tell them the truth. I thought about my father's face when he'd rejected my sister's boyfriend. The way my mother had cried about family reputation. The months of silent dinners and awkward phone calls. I'm sure, I lied. Murtala Muhammad International Airport in Lagos hit us like a wall of heat and humanity. Even at 6 a.m., the place buzzed with energy. Travelers, porters, taxi drivers, families reuniting. Jin-woo's eyes were wide, taking it all in. It's so. Loud? Crowded? Welcome to Lagos. We made our way to baggage claim, and that's when I saw him. Uncle Emeka. Standing by the carousel, scanning the crowd. The same Uncle Emeka who lived in Seoul. The same Uncle Emeka who had met Jin-woo at a church dinner 6 months ago. The same Uncle Emeka who definitely knew Jin-woo was not Samuel. Chioma. Jin-woo followed my frozen gaze. Why do you look like you've seen a ghost? That's my uncle. Oh, great. Let me introduce. He lives in Seoul. He knows you're not Samuel. Jin-woo's greeting hand dropped. Oh, Uncle Emeka spotted us. His face did something complicated, surprise, understanding, then a slow smile that made my stomach drop. He walked over with the casual confidence of a man who knew he held all the cards. Chioma, my favorite niece. He hugged me, then turned to Jin-woo, extending his hand. And you must be Jin-woo. Nice to see you again. Jin-woo shook it weakly. Sir, I can explain. Oh, I think I understand perfectly. Uncle Emeka's smile widened. Your mother asked me to pick you up. Said you were bringing Samuel home. Interesting, since Samuel is engaged to Grace from the choir. My world tilted. He's what? Got engaged last month. Big church ceremony. Your mother couldn't make it. She was planning your welcome dinner. Uncle Emeka chuckled. This is going to be quite a ride home. Shall we? Uncle Emeka's Mercedes smelled like leather and my impending doom. Jin-woo and I sat in the back seat, holding hands so tight I lost circulation in my fingers. So, Jin-woo, Uncle Emeka said in Igbo, making eye contact in the rearview mirror. Are you ready to meet the family? Jin-woo smiled nervously, not understanding. I squeezed his hand. Uncle, please. Oh, I'll keep your secret. Uncle Emeka switched to English, waving his hand casually. But you have to tell me everything. How did this happen? How did Mary think you were bringing Samuel? I explained in a rush, the Facebook photo, the assumptions, my cowardice. Uncle Emeka laughed so hard he had to wipe tears from his eyes. Chioma, you are your father's daughter. Stubborn and terrible at planning. Can you not tell them? Please. At least not until. Until what? Until your mother serves dinner and Jin-woo accidentally uses chopsticks. Jin-woo perked up. Chopsticks? We're not eating Korean food, right? It's an expression, I muttered. Try your Igbo, Uncle Emeka suggested in the language, grinning wickedly. Jin-woo, eager to impress, launched into his rehearsed greeting. Duo. Aha mbu Jin-woo. Ahuru mgin Anya. Uncle Emeka nearly drove off the road. Did he just say he loves me? He meant to say, nice to meet you, I said weakly. He said, I love you. To me. On our first meeting. Jin-woo looked between us, confused. Was that wrong? Uncle Emeka pulled up to my family compound, a collection of buildings around a central courtyard where my parents, siblings, and various relatives lived. Already, I could see movement through the windows. People preparing. Waiting. Your mother has been cooking for 2 days, Uncle Emeka said, putting the car in park. Everyone is excited. Through the living room window, I saw her. My mother Mary, in her best Ankara outfit, holding something in her hand. As we got closer, my heart stopped. It was a photo. A printed Facebook photo of Samuel Okeke. Jin-woo, I said slowly. When we go in there, just smile. And bow. A lot. Chioma, I need you to share something with me really quickly, Uncle Emeka said, turning to face us seriously. If you're watching this from Lagos, Seoul, New York, London, anywhere in the world, comment below and let me know. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, because this story is about to get wild. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. He winked, then opened his door. Showtime. My mother opened the front door before we even reached it. Her smile was bright, welcoming, everything I'd hoped for. Then her eyes landed on Jin-woo. The smile didn't falter, but I saw the confusion flash across her face. She looked at the photo in her hand. Looked at Jin-woo. Back to the photo. Chioma. Her voice was careful. Controlled. The voice she used when she was trying very hard not to react. This is? Jin-woo stepped forward and did something I didn't expect. He bowed a full, deep Korean bow and then spoke in careful Igbo. Nduo, mama. Aha mbu Jin-woo chung. Obiu nukwin sapiru is at gi. My mother's confusion deepened. She looked at me. Did he just? He said, hello, mama. My name is Jin-woo chung. It is a great honor to meet you, I translated. But Samuel. And then my father appeared behind her. Okafor Dixon stood 6'2", with shoulders that still looked military straight despite retirement. His face was unreadable as he stared at Jin-woo. The silence stretched like taffy, uncomfortable and sticky. Jin-woo bowed again. And then, to everyone's shock, my father spoke. Hello. In Korean. Jin-woo's head snapped up. Sir, you speak Korean? A little. The air left my lungs. Uncle Emeka was trying not to laugh. My mother looked between all of us like we'd started speaking in alien languages. My father stepped forward, still speaking Korean to Jin-woo. You are not Samuel. No, sir. My daughter lied to us. Yes, sir. I mean, it's complicated, sir. My father switched to English, his voice low and controlled. That voice. The one that meant someone was in trouble. You lied to us, Chioma. Those 5 words from my father's mouth felt like a verdict. Not angry. Not loud. Just disappointed. And somehow that was worse. Daddy, I can explain. Explain what? My mother found her voice, and it trembled. That you let me invite the entire family to meet Samuel? That I told everyone at church? That grandma is flying in from the village specifically for this? Jin-woo stepped forward, his hands clasped in front of him. Sir, Ma, please. This is my fault. No, it's not, I started. Yes, it is. Jin-woo looked at my parents with those earnest eyes. I knew Chioma was nervous about telling you about me. About us. I should have insisted we tell the truth. My father's expression didn't change. And why were you nervous, Chioma? The question hung in the air. Uncle Emeka had quietly disappeared into the house, probably to watch the drama unfold from a safe distance. Because I felt tears prickling my eyes. Because you've never approved of anyone I've brought home. Because you and Mama stopped talking to Adana for months over her boyfriend. Because I knew that bringing home someone who isn't Nigerian, who doesn't speak Igbo, who makes you happy? My mother interrupted softly. I looked at her, stunned. She walked closer, studying Jin-woo's face. Does he make you happy? Yes, Mama. Very happy. And you, Jin-woo? She turned to him. Why did you learn Igbo? Those phrases you spoke, they weren't perfect, but you tried. Why? Jin-woo swallowed hard. Because Chioma talks about her family all the time. Every day, she tells me stories about growing up here, about your traditions, your food, your language. I wanted to understand that part of her. I wanted to show respect to the people who raised the woman I love. My mother's eyes widened. My father's jaw tightened. You love my daughter? My father asked. Yes, sir. Very much. For how long? 2 years, sir. We met when she started teaching at the International School where I work as an art teacher. She was lost on her first day, and I helped her find her classroom. She thanked me in Korean, terrible Korean, he smiled slightly, but she tried. And I've been trying ever since to deserve her. Something shifted in my father's face. Not acceptance, not yet. But something. Come inside, he said finally. If we're going to have this conversation, we're not having it in the doorway where the neighbors can hear. The living room felt smaller than I remembered. Or maybe it was just the weight of the situation crushing down on us. My mother gestured for us to sit on the couch while she and my father took the chairs opposite us. The house smelled like home, like the coconut oil Mama used for her hair, like the tiger balm Daddy rubbed on his shoulders, like the faint scent of last night's stew still lingering from the kitchen. Jin-woo, my father began, leaning forward with his elbows on his knees. I was stationed in South Korea during a peacekeeping mission. 23 years ago. I met good people there. Kind people. But I also learned that every culture has its own ways, its own expectations. Yes, sir. If you marry my daughter, and I'm not saying you will, but if you do, you'll face challenges. People will talk. Both here and in Korea. Are you prepared for that? Daddy. I protested. Let him answer, Chioma. Jin-woo took a breath. Mr. Dixon, I won't pretend it will be easy. My own parents, they don't know about Chioma yet. The room went silent. My mother's eyebrows shot up. What? I turned to stare at him. Jin-woo looked at me apologetically. I was going to tell you on the plane, but you were so stressed about your family, I didn't want to add more pressure. My parents are traditional too. They've been asking me for years when I'll marry a nice Korean girl. I haven't told them because I was scared they'd react badly. So we're both cowards, I said flatly. Apparently. Uncle Emeka's laugh echoed from somewhere in the house. He was definitely eavesdropping. My mother stood up, smoothing her wrapper. This is a mess. A complete mess. But, she looked at my father, some unspoken conversation passing between them. But we will deal with it. First, we need to decide what to tell everyone who's coming to dinner tonight. Tonight, Jin-woo squeaked. Yes, tonight. Your aunts, uncles, cousins. They're all expecting to meet Samuel. Now they'll meet Jin-woo instead. And tomorrow, Grandma arrives. Jin-woo looked like he might faint. Mary, my father said quietly. Perhaps we should cancel. Cancel? And tell them what? That our daughter has been lying to us for 2 years? That will make things worse. No. My mother's voice took on that determined tone that meant her decision was final. Jin-woo will meet the family. Tonight. And if he survives that, then we'll talk about the future. Survives? Jin-woo whispered to me. It's just an expression, I lied. My mother put us to work immediately. Jin-woo was sent to help my father in the backyard, to talk man to man, while I was dragged to the kitchen to help cook. Mama, I'm sorry. Hush. We're making a goosey soup, jollof rice, and fried plantain. Start chopping those onions. We worked in silence for a few minutes, the familiar rhythm of cooking together almost enough to make me forget the chaos. He's handsome, Mama said suddenly. What? Jin-woo. He's handsome. And polite. The way he bowed, The way he tried to speak our language, that shows respect. I looked at her, hope blooming in my chest. You like him? I didn't say that. I said he shows respect. There's a difference. She stirred the pot vigorously. But Chioma, you have to understand. Your father and I, we worry. We've seen relationships fail because of cultural differences. Your Aunt Ngozi, remember? She married that British man, and within 2 years. Uncle David was cheating on her, Mama. That had nothing to do with culture. Maybe. But the distance from family didn't help. When things got bad, she had no support system there. Mama pointed her wooden spoon at me. That's what we fear for you. Being so far away, with someone who doesn't understand our ways. Jin-woo is trying to understand. Trying isn't the same as understanding. It takes years, Chioma. Years of patience, compromise, sacrifice. I know, Mama. She studied my face for a long moment. You really love him. It wasn't a question, but I answered anyway. I really do. Then pray, she said simply. Pray that tonight goes well. Because Grandmother Amanda arrives tomorrow, and you know how she is. I did know. Grandma had made 3 of my uncle's girlfriends cry. She'd rejected 4 potential in-laws. She once told a suitor he was too soft, because he couldn't kill a chicken. We're doomed, I muttered. Possibly, Mama agreed, but I caught the hint of a smile on her lips. By 6 p.m., the compound was full. Aunts, uncles, cousins, family, friends. Everyone had come to meet Samuel. The dining room table groaned under the weight of food, and the air buzzed with conversation and laughter. Jin-woo stood next to me, dressed in the nice shirt we'd packed specifically for this occasion. He looked terrified. Remember, I whispered. Be polite, eat everything offered to you, and... Chioma. Aunt Ngozi swept over, her Ankara dress swirling around her. Where is this Samuel everyone has been talking about? Her eyes landed on Jin-woo. Oh my. You're not Samuel. No, Auntie. This is Jin-woo. My boyfriend. The room didn't go silent. That would be dramatic. Instead, the volume dropped by half, conversations stuttering as people turned to look at us. Jin-woo, Aunt Ngozi repeated slowly. That's Korean. Yes, Ma. Jin-woo bowed slightly. It's an honor to meet you. My cousin Chitty, 16 and absolutely no filter, appeared at our side. Yo, are you Jackie Chan? Chitty. Aunt Ngozi swatted at him. What? I'm just asking. Jin-woo laughed, and I felt some of the tension leave his shoulders. No, but I get that a lot. I'm just an art teacher. That's so cool. Can you do kung fu? Chitty, go sit down, Aunt Ngozi ordered, but she was looking at Jin-woo with curiosity now, not hostility. My father stood up at the head of the table and cleared his throat. The room fell silent immediately. Everyone, thank you for coming tonight. As you can see, we have a surprise. This is Jin-woo Chung, Chioma's boyfriend from Seoul. Jin-woo, this is the Dixon family. May God help you. Nervous laughter rippled through the room. Before anyone asks, my father continued. Yes, he is Korean. No, we were not expecting him. Yes, Chioma has some explaining to do. But tonight, we welcome him as a guest in our home. It wasn't exactly a rousing endorsement, but it wasn't a rejection either. I'd take it. We sat down to eat, Jin-woo between me and Uncle Emeka. The food was served, mountains of jollof rice, egusi soup thick with spinach and melon seeds, fried plantains glistening with oil, grilled chicken that fell off the bone. Jin-woo stared at his plate, specifically at the soup. Everything okay? I whispered. Is that, what's in that soup? Egusi. It's made from melon seeds. Very traditional. Very delicious. He picked up his spoon hesitantly. The soup was thick, rich, and, as he was about to discover, very, very spicy. Jin-woo, my father called from the other end of the table. Tell me, what do you do in Seoul? I teach art at an international school, sir. Painting, sculpture, some digital design. Art. My father's tone was unreadable. Can you make a living from that? Daddy. I hissed. It's okay, Jin-woo said quickly. Yes, sir. The school pays well, and I also sell some of my work on the side. I've been saving to buy an apartment. Smart, Uncle Emeka interjected. Seoul real estate is expensive. Jin-woo took his first spoonful of soup. I watched his face carefully. His eyes widened. His cheeks flushed. Sweat immediately beaded on his forehead. It's very good, he gasped, reaching for his water. Too spicy. Mama asked innocently, though I saw the test in her eyes. No, Ma. It's perfect. He took another spoonful. Then another. His face was turning red, tears forming in his eyes, but he kept eating. My father watched him with what might have been the beginning of respect. Jin-woo, Aunt Ngozi called out. I heard you speaking Igbo when you arrived. Where did you learn? My friend Chibiz taught me some phrases, Ma. I wanted to show respect to Chioma's family. I know I'm not very good yet, but I'm still learning. Say something in Igbo, Cousin Chitty demanded. Jin-woo wiped his sweating face and spoke carefully. Nria di yudo nki aku. Dalu, Mama Mary. This food is very delicious. Thank you, Mama Mary. My mother's face softened. ODMMA. Your pronunciation needs work, but the effort is appreciated. If you're enjoying this chaos, do me a favor. Hit that like button and drop a comment telling me if you've ever had a disastrous family meeting. And subscribe because you definitely want to see what happens when Grandmother Amanda shows up. Trust me, this dinner is nothing compared to what's coming. The dinner continued, and slowly, I watched my family warm to Jin-woo. He answered questions patiently, laughed at my uncle's terrible jokes, and complimented Mama's cooking despite the fact that he was clearly dying from the spice. Then Cousin Chitty asked the question that changed everything. Hey Jin-woo, do you know BTS? Jin-woo paused, his spoon halfway to his mouth. Ah, yes, actually. I know them. No way. Have you met them? I was a backup dancer for SM Entertainment for 3 years before I became a teacher. The room exploded. What? You were a K-pop dancer? Did you meet EXO? Can you teach me the moves? Suddenly, Jin-woo was the most interesting person in the room. My cousins surrounded him, firing questions faster than he could answer. Even my aunts looked impressed. Chioma, you didn't tell us your boyfriend was famous. Aunt Ngozi exclaimed. I'm not famous, Jin-woo laughed. I was just a backup dancer. But yes, I've met some idols. It was hard work, long hours, strict training. Show us a dance, Chitty begged. Yeah, come on. Jin-woo looked at me helplessly. I shrugged. Why not? Things couldn't get weirder. He stood up, and someone pulled up a K-pop song on their phone. To my absolute shock, my mother stood up too. Teach me, she said to Jin-woo. My jaw dropped. My father looked equally stunned. Mama, what are you? If I'm going to have a K-pop dancer in the family, I should learn something. Jin-woo, show me. For the next 10 minutes, Jin-woo taught my mother a simple K-pop dance routine. She laughed, stumbled, tried again. The whole family clapped and cheered. Even my father was smiling. In that moment, watching Jin-woo spin my mother around while my cousins filmed on their phones and my aunts clapped the rhythm, I felt something loosen in my chest. Maybe this could work. Maybe. What is going on here? The voice cut through the laughter like a blade. Everyone froze. Standing in the doorway, having let herself in through the back gate, was Grandmother Amanda. A day early, in full traditional wrapper and head tie, carrying her walking stick, looking like a warrior queen surveying a battlefield. Her eyes scanned the room, landing on Jin-woo. Who? She asked in Igbo, her voice dangerously calm. Is this Chinese man dancing with my daughter-in-law? Mama. My mother rushed to Grandmother Amanda. You're early. We were going to pick you up tomorrow. Clearly. Grandmother's eyes never left Jin-woo, who had wisely stopped dancing and was now standing very still. Mary, I asked you a question. Who is this man? My father stood up. Mama, this is Jin-woo Chung. He's my boyfriend, Grandma. I stepped forward, my voice shaking but firm. He's Korean, and he's been with me for 2 years. Grandmother Amanda's grip on her walking stick tightened. Korean. Not Samuel from the church. No, Ma. You lied. Yes, Ma. She walked closer to Jin-woo, looking him up and down like he was livestock at the market. Jin-woo, to his credit, stood straight and met her eyes respectfully. Can you speak our language? She asked in Igbo. Small, Ma. Jin-woo replied carefully. I am learning. Do you have money? Grandma. I protested. I have a good job, Ma. I can provide. Can you kill a chicken? Jin-woo blinked. I what? A chicken. Can you kill one, pluck it, prepare it for cooking? I've never tried, Ma, but I could learn. What are your intentions with my granddaughter? The room held its breath. Jin-woo straightened his shoulders. Ma, I love Chioma. I want to marry her. I want to build a life with her. I know I'm not what you expected. I know I'm not Nigerian. But I promise you, I will spend every day trying to make her happy, trying to honor her family, trying to be worthy of her. Grandmother Amanda stared at him for a long, terrifying moment. Then she spoke in English, surprising everyone. During the war, a Korean soldier saved my life. The room went completely silent. I was young, maybe 20. There was fighting near our village. A soldier, I never learned his name. He helped me hide, gave me water, protected me until it was safe. He had kind eyes. She looked at Jin-woo. Like yours. My mother gasped softly. I always wanted to thank Korean people for that kindness, grandmother continued. I never got the chance. Maybe God is giving me that chance now. She stepped closer to Jin-woo and did something I never expected. She placed her hand on his head, blessing him in Igbo. My father's eyes were wet. My mother was openly crying. Jin-woo looked like he didn't dare breathe. You may not be what we expected, my grandmother said. But perhaps you are what we need. Mary, give this boy some water. He looks like he's about to faint. And just like that, the tension broke. Everyone laughed, and Jin-woo did indeed look like he needed to sit down. The rest of the evening passed in a blur of laughter and storytelling. Grandma shared more stories about her youth. Jin-woo showed my cousins more dance moves. And for a few beautiful hours, I forgot to be anxious. Then, as we were cleaning up and people were preparing to leave, Jin-woo pulled me aside. Chioma, there's something I need to tell everyone. My stomach dropped. What? I should have mentioned this earlier, but everything was so crazy, and I didn't want to. Jin-woo, just tell me. He took a deep breath. My parents. I called them yesterday. I told them about you. That's good. That's great. Why do you look so worried? Because they're flying in. Tonight. They'll be here tomorrow morning. My brain short-circuited. What? They said if I was serious enough to tell them, they wanted to meet you. And your family. So they're coming. I grabbed his arm. Jin-woo, your parents are coming? Tomorrow? Here. Yes. Your traditional Korean parents who don't know their son has been dating a Nigerian woman for 2 years are coming to my family compound tomorrow? Yes. And they'll meet my traditional Nigerian family? Yes. We stared at each other in horror. We need to tell my parents, I said. Right now? Right now. We gathered my parents and grandmother in the living room. Everyone else had left or gone to bed. The 4 of them looked at us expectantly. So, my father said, What's this about? Jin-woo cleared his throat. Sir, Ma, Grandma. My parents are arriving tomorrow morning. They're coming to meet everyone. My mother's eyes widened. Tomorrow? But we need time to prepare. What do they eat? What are their customs? Do they speak English? They speak some English, Jin-woo said. But my mother is very traditional. She has expectations. What kind of expectations? My father asked warily. She believes I should marry a Korean woman. She has opinions about, he hesitated, about interracial relationships. The room went quiet. So your mother is like how we were, my father said slowly. Yes, sir. Grandma laughed, a deep belly laugh that startled everyone. So we must convince them, just like Jin-woo convinced us. Fair is fair. My mother stood up, her face set with determination. Then we have work to do. Okafor, we need to clean the guest rooms. Chioma, you need to teach us some Korean phrases. Jin-woo, tell me everything about Korean culture. What they like, what they don't like. If we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. That night, I couldn't sleep. Jin-woo and I sat on the veranda, watching the stars and listening to the night sounds of Lagos. Are we crazy? I asked. Absolutely, he agreed. But maybe that's okay. We held hands in silence, both knowing that tomorrow would either bring our families together or tear us apart. At 3 a.m., my phone buzzed. A message from Jin-woo's mother through a translation app. We land at 7 a.m., looking forward to meeting Chioma's family. I have many questions. I showed Jin-woo the message. He groaned. We should sleep, he said. Tomorrow is going to be. The doorbell rang. We both froze. At 3 a.m., who could possibly be at the door? My father appeared in his robe, looking confused and annoyed. He opened the door. Standing there, with suitcases and stern expressions, were 2 people who could only be Jin-woo's parents. 12 hours early. Jin-woo's mother looked at the house, then at my father, then her eyes found Jin-woo and me standing on the veranda. Her expression was unreadable. She spoke in Korean, and Jin-woo translated in a whisper. She says she couldn't wait. She had to see for herself what kind of family her son had chosen over his own people. My father stood taller, meeting her gaze steadily. Behind him, my mother appeared, then grandmother Amanda. The 2 families faced each other in the doorway, East meeting West, tradition meeting tradition. And I realized the chaos from dinner? That was nothing. The real battle was just beginning. Jin-woo's mother stepped forward, and my grandmother stepped forward to meet her. The air crackled with tension. And then, what do you think will happen in part 2? Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.